parlay. Inflation is not coming down. Okay, it's not going to come down. So you need to concentrate on yourself. Really, you don't have time to listen to other people, especially a lot of these YouTubers online. They don't have anything for you. I promise you. I promise you, they don't. They just want your time and attention, and then they want your money. That's what they do. They scam people. It's a grift, you know. That's what it is. You don't have the time to do all that. You don't have the time. The answer is within you. You. Nobody can answer your questions but yourself. Nobody knows you as well as you know yourself. Well, I hope you know yourself. And if you don't, you need to do your shadow work. You really do. And that means looking at yourself from the outside in, really understanding who you are as a person and going through the motions, okay? You know, you need to build structure in your life and then discipline to maintain that structure. Then you need to go through doing your shadow work. You know, look that up. Shadow work. Understanding who you are as a person. You know, that's vitally important because they don't want you to know anything about yourself. They want you concentrating on everything around you rather than concentrating on who you are, you, and how to take care of you. You know, so many people don't even know how to take care of themselves these days. They don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean. They don't know how to make money. They don't know how to hunt. They don't know how to, you know, grow vegetables and fruit. Any of that. No, what you know how to do is walk your happy butt to the grocery store, and if you have money, buy the items that you want to eat, not that you need to eat. See, we're always focused on our wants rather than our needs. You know, so many people are living just haphazard lives, and that's where they want you. They want you to live haphazardly, so you have to depend on the system. You see, that's how they get you. And what they don't want you to do is be self-actualized. That's what they don't want. That's a big threat to them, self-actualization. It was a big threat to Machiavelli, Niccolo Machiavelli, back in, you know, way back, hundreds of years ago. He wrote a book. I think it was called Letters to the Prince. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Look him up, Machiavelli. Niccolo Machiavelli. Look him up. Please do your research. I don't need to tell you, okay? But I'm going to point you in the right direction, you know? But anyway, it's not coming down, inflation. It's not coming down. And I'm sorry to tell you this. And a lot of people are speaking out about, oh, you know, the boomers. You know, the boomers. They stole our future. You know, if you want to point the blame at somebody, go ahead and do it. It's not going to help you out. All you're going to do is commiserate with other people. All right? You don't have time to do all that. You don't have any time to do all that. Please trust me. You know, concentrate on yourself. The answer is within inside you. You know your life better than anybody else. And, you know, you don't have the time to be lazy anymore. The days of laziness, those are behind. They'll stay behind. Okay? They're going to stay behind. Promise. You know, I've spent 8.5 years as a soldier in the military, as a non-commissioned officer. And the rest of that time, I was in the DOD. You know, I stayed deployed. You know, half of my military career was staying deployed. I don't know how many times I deployed, but I always deployed to combat zones. Real shit. Always deployed to combat zones, you know. And I became very comfortable. If you ask me if I wanted to stay in the States or go back on a deployment, you know, the inside of me would always revert, yeah, let me go deploy. You know, that's how deep I was in it. But these war-torn countries, I remember the first deployment I ever went on was Bosnia back in '97. And yeah, a while ago, you know, longer than some of y'all have been alive. And I've been deploying before deploying was cool. You see, I was deploying, real talk. And back in Bosnia, before the war kicked off in 94, 95, 96, was really heavy. What was a precursor, what precluded before the war, before it went kinetic, was hyperinflation, the loss of employment. So put that underneath your hat. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen here. I hope it doesn't happen here. I really do. I don't want anything like that to happen here, because it's devastating. And those people had it more together than we do right now. We're so fractured, it's ridiculous. And, you know, all this inflation is caused by all this greed, all this corporate greed, government printing money. Now we have the tariffs. And we're about to see some real stuff come on down the pike. And there's a bullwhip effect, okay? I've spoken about that bullwhip effect in prior videos. But it's going to get really deep, really heavy. And you don't have the time to be looking at some of these grifters on YouTube, because they're pulling out all stops. All the tricks, they're pulling out all the tricks. Every trick and any trick that they can think of, possibly, to get your attention and make you feel bad about not being where they say they are. All right? Where they say they are. Okay? Highlight that. You know? That's the operative word or the operative phrase. Where they say they are. And they say, you better do it too. What are you waiting for? And they want to shame their audience into buying their bullcrap package. Okay? Scamming you. And I'm not saying that they're all scams. You got some good individuals out there, but you really have to vet it. You know? And more specifically, you've got to do the work. Some of them are trying to give you the information. All right? Some things are more expensive than others. You know, I know a lot of them have to make a living as well. You know, I'm writing a book. All I want is $20 from people that want to buy the book. You know, that's it. And then you have a lifetime of information and knowledge that you can use through the rest of your years. You know, freedom, guys, is the focus. Inflation's not coming down. It's here to stay, unfortunately. And it's going to get worse. So, I mean, really, if you were to ask me, so what do I do? What do I do? Well, create your own infrastructure, which means buying yourself a plot of land, you know, somewhere, a plot of land. There's land out there for you to purchase. Maybe it's $11,000. Maybe it's $20,000. Maybe, you know, but you can work hard for that, and you can get that. You can get up $10,000, $11,000, $20,000, but you're going to have to sacrifice something. Maybe that Mercedes S-Class. Maybe you have a mortgage with a house. Hopefully you're not upside down on it either. You know? Do something with it, because right now it's draining you. And if you're in the matrix, the system, you know, the margins and parameters, you know, which is the matrix. I call it the margins and parameters. Other people call it the matrix, but whatever. If you're in the system, then you need to get out. You need to remove yourself as far from the system as you possibly can. It's not going to be all the way, and I get that. I understand that. But as much as you possibly can, get out of the system. You know, get yourself a plot of land. You know, put one of these sheds on it. You know, a shed. All right? Or maybe one of these container homes. Build yourself something. You know, build something. Build your first shed. All right? That will give you the kind of, you know, mechanical ability that you develop over doing that. You know, it builds character, you know, and then you learn how to do something on the basic level. Volunteer your time to a contractor. Say, look, I'll work for free if you give me knowledge. And I know some of y'all don't have the time to do that, but most of y'all have the weekends. Start burning the weekends by learning something, gaining skills. Work on your own car. YouTube your car, how to service your car. That knowledge is out there. Use it. You know, YouTube can be one thing that you can go down the rabbit hole and you can go deep in and then doom scroll and all that other stuff. You don't have to do any of that. You can start simple, right? You can start simple. But what I'm trying to tell you really is, you know, stop concentrating on these other people. Stop living vicariously through somebody else's success. You know, start living your own life, man. Live your own life. You know, participate in your own life. You know, start taking a shower with a bucket and a ladle, you know. What I mean by that is, you know, participate in it. You know, when you participate in your own life, you start to develop more of an intimate relationship with yourself rather than, you know, putting all your dishes in the dishwasher. Wash them by hand. You know, if you start cleaning up after yourself, you're participating in your own life. If you start taking care of what you eat and what you put on your body, all those detergents, and then start, you know, using soap and more organic stuff, yeah, it costs more. And you can even make it yourself. You see, you can make these things yourself. You can learn how to do things on your own rather than having to like buy spaghetti sauce over at the grocery store. Learn how to make it rather than buying pasta at the grocery store. Learn how to make that too. You can do that. You know, maybe a lot of you don't have the time. Well, okay, I understand that. Then go to the grocery store. That's fine if you don't have the time to do all that. I understand. You're trying to make money and trying to pull yourself out of that hole. I get that. A lot of people are. You know, maximize your time more efficiently. That's all I can tell you to do, because it is getting hard. It's getting hard for a lot of people. You know, you make 100K a year, some people, you know, and they're struggling also. Everybody's in the struggle together. You know, greed's really taken a hold of our country. And in the West, you know, Great Britain, you know, other Western European countries, you know, Canada, going in a big way, Australia, New Zealand, all the English-speaking countries are going through it right now. They are, in a big way also. It's hard, it's tough out there. Wherever country you are in, it's tough, and it's getting more tough as, you know, it drags on. And it's only going to get tougher. It's only going to get tougher. And you're going to get tougher. If you just roll up your sleeves and say, okay, I can do this, go do it. Go get it done. Seriously. You can. You know, start off small. Work your way up. Do it. You know, stop getting discouraged, because that's not going to get you anywhere. You know, it's not going to get anybody anywhere being discouraged. We all get discouraged sometimes. It's good to kind of go through the emotions, commiserate a little bit, but roll up your sleeves right afterwards and say, you know what, I'm tired. I'm tired of commiserating. I'm tired of feeling down in the dumps. I gotta pull myself out of that hole. And the worst thing that somebody can do is get all discouraged and depressed and go down that rabbit hole, start eating really bad, eating your gallon of ice cream. Yeah, it's tempting. I like ice cream too. But you can't do that. You can't. You can't afford to. It's going to ruin your health in a big way. And look, nobody can pay for health insurance here in the United States or health care. Because, yeah, maybe you can pay your insurance bill if you have it, and hopefully you do. A lot of people don't, right? A lot of people don't. And that's some third world stuff. If I've ever known, that is some third world crap, people not being able to afford health care. And what's worse is you're paying your insurance premium, and then you get sick, and then you're slapped with a $1,200 bill because you got a deductible. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'd say if you can, go to Mexico or Canada, if they'll even have you. But I know Mexico will, if you really have a big issue. But start eating right. Start taking care of yourself. Eat right. Okay, you can go exercise all you want, but if you're eating like crap, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. You're going to stay where you're at. You'll get stronger. Yeah, your core strength will get stronger, but then you're going to get sick. You'll get every virus that comes your way. I promise you. It's terrible stuff. We're in a state, in a terrible one at that. But we can't commiserate too long. We can't get discouraged. We got to just push through it. And look, if you can sell all your stuff and go live in another country, do it. If you can make money online and do that, do it. Because prices, they're not coming down. If you can buy yourself a couple acres of land and grow your own food, make your own electricity, have your own plumbing. It's not easy. It's not going to be easy. But you can't sit on the couch and you can't sit on the chair thinking that, well, I'm just going to wait it out. No, man. No. The time for doing that is past. Get to work. Really get to work. That's all I can tell you. It's not easy. But that's all you got. And if you are in ill health, try to do something. Try to start eating right. That's all I can tell you. And that's it, man. That's it. Things are getting difficult out there. You got to stay strong. Get yourself a group of people. Network a little bit. Make friends. Talk to people. Don't punish yourself. Put your arms around somebody. Let somebody put their arms around you. Love a bit more. You need it. Everybody does. Feed your cat, feed your dog, love on them. Love on your child. Love on your siblings. Nieces, nephews. Love on them. Take care of them. Watch out for them. Make sure they're good. Teach them. And the reason why I'm saying this, because we need to stay positive. And we need to make sure the youth are positive. And that we can be a shining example for them. So their generation doesn't see this. And they're a bit stronger and in a better situation than we are right now. Because this is getting real. It's getting real. And that's all I got for you. Stay strong. Parlay out.